Everybody, welcome. I'm Zoyos, welcome. So basically, in this tarot card reading, this is going to be for August 12th to August 20th of 2025. So in this wonderful reading, I just need to understand that it's going to be very good at how it is. It might represent about all of you. It might represent about the zodiac signs that you might be going through. It might be where you might be dealing with another fire signs or earth signs or water signs or air signs. It doesn't matter. But the way it is, it's going to be very interesting, very fascinating, very interesting but uptight, because this is the way it goes. These are things you must learn first in order to do it, because this is the way it goes. This is the way it happens. But nowadays, it's basically how it works, and you have to have your own continuation. You have to know what it is, right? This is how it goes. So, this oracle card, it says, discipline. I can accomplish what I set my mind to. That's how it goes. And when you use your own discipline, you know how it works. You know how you can proceed with caution. You know what it is. And when you do that, you use your own, the way how it goes, where you're using discipline, where you may be disciplined about your own life or your own way or, how it is. But you have to have the best about all possibilities. I will understand that. That's the way it goes. But for reference, you have to understand what it takes. It's about how it is, right? This is the way it seems to be, right? So you have to try to uptight the situation, whether you like it or not, right? Whether you're gonna have based. But the way how this is, you're trying to understand that. So when you're using the word discipline, you know how it goes in that way, right? You have to go with the flow. And when you do that, that's how it goes, right? That's how it seems to be. So that's how it works. But the way how this is, the way how it's going to be remaining about how it goes, you have to understand what it takes, because when you're using the word discipline, you know what's going to be happening. So that's how it goes. So I'm going to see what's going on through the left side and the right side. We're going to figure out who's in the middle of the situation. So we're going to see what's going on in that way, but then we have to understand what it takes in that way. So this is how it is, and I hope you all like this video. Please get like, please leave a comment if you want, but this is how it goes. So here we go. So the way how this is, you have to understand what it takes, and this is the way it goes. On the A1 reverse, you have no speed. I don't know why you have no speed left, but the way how this is, it's like you're trying to know what's going to be. It's like you're trying to understand about what's going to be against you in that way, because you're trying to figure out what's going to be, how it's going to be in that way. You're trying to have your own, how it's going to affect you, of how it goes, but you have to understand that, right? That's how it goes. And on the right side, you have the strength card. That's represent Leo as a fire sign, as a zodiac sign. You might be having bravery, but you're using the word discipline because that's how it goes. When you're using the word discipline, you know how it works. You know how you're going to have your own guarantees, whatever it is. This is not your cup of coffee. This is not your cup of tea. This is not a cup of everything, right? So you have to understand, but above all of this one situation, whether you like it or not, whether how everything is going to be. And when you do that, it's like, okay, this is how it works, but then you have to understand about how it is in that way. You're trying to converse of how it's going to be in that way, so you have to know what it is. So let me clarify the A1s here. So the strength card reversed is there's no bravery. King Wands is upright. The death card reversed. The 7 cups reversed, followed by the 2 pentacles is upright. Yeah. So you could be dealing with a Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. You might be dealing with a Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus in that way, because this is how it goes. It's like you're trying to understand that how it works, and that's how it is. If you're not having bravery, you're being scared. I don't know why that you're being scared, but that's how it goes. It's like how you're going to manifest your own problems, or where you're going to be doing that in that way. It's like you're trying to be struggling, and you're trying to not to be struck. You're not. But the way how this is, you're trying to get a hold of yourself, whether you like it or not, whether you're going to think that everything is like all PG, a personal guidance, whatever it is, right? You're trying to understand about everything is all good, but then you understand why it works, how you can provide. But that's how it goes, right? Everything has to be all great, but then this is like how it is. This is not like nitty gritty. This is not the short and sweet. This is not the way it goes. But you have to understand about the way how it works, because it could affect you. It might affect your whole entire system or your body or whatever it is, because you need to figure out that. You're trying to, if you're balancing two things at once, you're balancing two things, right? That's how it goes. but then you have to understand that. That's how it goes. What's happening with the Strength card? The 10 Wands reverse, there's no burdens. The 5 Wands reverse, there's no chaos. 9 Swords reverse, there's no drama. But Judgment is already, you're taking action. Yeah, because that's how it goes. When you're taking action, you know how it is, because you need to know what's going to be happening in that way. Because that's how it seems to be. You're trying to know what it is, right? So there are things you must learn first in order to do it. You're trying to use the word discipline. You're trying to know what it takes. But then you have to understand that, right? Everything has to be all about this whole entire situation, whether you like it or not. But then this is how it works, right? This is the way it seems to be. But there are things that you must learn first in order to do that, right? You have to use your own ways about in order to do. That's how it goes. What's in the middle of this situation, please? The 9 of Wands here. So there's no fear in this situation, because you're not having any fear, because this is the way it goes. You're trying to be confident. You're trying to how you can be your own sensitivity. That's how it goes. But then you have to understand what it's going to be taking in that way. So let me clarify. Let me clarify the left side, please. So the Magician's upright, you on skill. The Devil reverse, there's no obsessions or violence. The Strength card reverse, so there's no bravery, right? There's no bravery on that side, on the left side, because that's how it goes. Let me clarify that. The Lovers reverse, there's no decisions, but the Death card does represent Scorpio. It does represent endings are going to come up. I don't know why, but you have to know what it takes. You're trying to have your own basic values of how it goes in that way. It's like, alright, I know what to do, but then it's like, how can I do it? That's how the way it goes. What's up there on the right side, please? Tower reverse, there's no transformation. The Fool is upright, there's change, and Chariot is upright, there's progress. Yeah, because that's how it goes. It's like everything has to be all great, but then you have to understand about what it is. So let me clarify the left side with this Death card here. The Strength card is upright, you want bravery. The Wheel of Fortune is upright, you want good luck. Yeah, that's how it goes. Because that's how it is. And you're trying to understand about how it is. You're trying to, try to use it as a play-by-play situation. But the way how it goes, you're trying to know what it is. So if you're dealing with an Leo as a fire sign, you know what to do, right? You have to know what it takes. But if you're dealing with another Scorpio, that's another water sign, as a zodiac sign, you pay attention to it. You're probably having good luck on your side. That's how it goes. Everything has to be coming together in that way, and you know what it is in that way, right? That's how it goes. What's something on the right side, please? The Justice is upright, you're telling the truth. The Temperance is upright, there's healing. The Emperor reverse, there's no structure. Lovers reverse, there's no decisions. The Tower reverse, there's no transformation. Death card reverse, there's no endings. The Sun card is upright, there's positivity. Yeah, because that's how it goes. It's like how you're going to be affecting the way how it goes. You're trying to think outside the box, but how will you do it, right? How you're going to have positivity, because that's how it goes. It's like everything has to be all great, but then how you're going to do it, right? That's how it seems to be. You're trying to master your own skills. You're trying to do what it takes, right? This is how it goes. You're trying to get involved, When you get involved, you know what works, but then this is the way it seems to be. You're trying to know how you're going to do it in that way. It's like everything has to be divine timing of how it is. So let's see what's going on with the Strength card in this Wheel of Fortune. The Devil's upright, there's obsessions and there's violence. The Emperor reverse, there's no structure. Taurus is upright, there's healing. The Tower reverse, there's no transformation. Empress is upright, there's nourishment. Yeah, because that's how it goes. If you're having obsessions, or you're having addictions, or things are not going as planned, it's like, why are you doing it? Why are you having this intense feeling, right? It's like, there are things that you need to understand in order to do it, right? That's how it goes. And you have to play by the rules. This is the way it goes, right? So if you're trying to play, or you're trying to, what it is, what it is, in that way you're trying to, up against your own self, or maybe you're trying to get along with others, or maybe you're not getting along. But the way how this is, you're trying to understand what it takes, because you're trying to be the bigger person, maybe, right? So you're trying to understand what it takes. If you're using the word discipline, you know what it is, right? So if you're using your own discipline, you know what it is, right? That's why it seems to be that. It's like, how you can do it in that way, you're trying to face your own abilities from a right or wrong perspective. That's all you can do. But the way how this is, right? That's how it goes. So let me see what's happening on the right side. The Magician of yours, there's no skill. The Chariot of yours, there's no progress. The Star of yours, there's no inspiration. The Emperor of yours, there's no structure. The Six of Swords is alright, there's movement, alright? So that's how it goes. The Ace of Swords is alright, there's understanding here. The Queen of Cups is alright, there's empathy. Yeah, because there are two sides of the story here. One makes sense, one doesn't make sense. So that's how it goes. It's like you need to know what it takes in that way, right? So it's like everything seems to be fine, but you have to know exactly how it is. You know by the rules, but you have to know what it takes. That's the way it goes, right? So you're trying to understand about the way how it works in that way. It's like, okay, everything seems to be fine. All right, I got this. But it's like, why you get it? Why you don't want it? But that's just how it goes in that way. What's on the left side, please? Nine of Swords over, there's drama. 10 of Swords over, there's burdens. King of Swords over, there's knowledge. 5 of Cups over, there's grief. Yeah, because you're feeling like you're having grief because things are not going as planned. It's like, why are you doing it? Why you keep doing it? But that's how it goes. What's in the middle of this situation here? The 9 of Cups over, there's romance. Yeah, so when you have two words are the way how it goes. One is empathy and one is romance. There are two different words, right? So empathy, there are two sides of the story here. One makes sense, one doesn't make sense. And the romance is like you're being loved, you're being, how it is, like appreciation, whatever it is, right? That's why it seems to be that. That's why you need to understand of what you're doing because this is the way it goes, right? This is the way it happens. But then you have to understand the way how it works in that way. So let me clarify the Ace of Swords, the Queen of Cups, and the Six of Swords. The 10 wants to start with there's burdens. Yeah, so there are burdens that you need to do exactly how it is. You might be dealing with inner Leo, Aries, Sagittarius in that way. So it's like everything has to be all trying to do it. It's like everything is all like problematic, whatever it is. But you're trying to understand that. You're trying to see it as in order to believe it. That's how it goes. And when things speak in that perspective, you're trying to know about the right and wrong perspective. That's all you can do. But then this is how it is. It's like you're not trying to waste your own time. You're trying to go with the flow. You're trying to pay attention about it. That's how it goes. So let's see what's happening. So then we go from the middle to the right, middle to the left. Page Swords of yours, there's no education. Tower of yours, there's no transformation. 9 Pentacles over, there's trust. 8 Wands over, there's speed. Empress of yours, there's no nourishment. 7 Wands of yours, you're not feeling deceit. 8 Cups of yours, there's no entertainment. 8 of Pentacles of yours, there's no perfection. The Magician of yours, there's no skill. 9 Cups is over, there's romance. Yeah, because you're trying to feel like you're having romance in one way and you're having romance in another way. That's how it goes. But if you're using the word discipline, you're using it as a tool. That's how it goes. And when you do that, it's like, okay, everything seems to be fine. All right, this is a welcoming spot. Yes, it is. But this is how it seems to be. So, it could be you versus them or them versus you. It doesn't matter. But the way how this is, it's like how it's going to be in that way because you're trying to process what you're doing in that way. You're trying to know what to do in that way. What's between the middle and the right side? Or in the left side, I mean? The 4 Wands yours, there's no celebration. The Emperor is upright, there's structure. 8 Swords over there's anxiety. 3 Swords over there's heartbreak. 6 Pentacles yours, there's no kindness. Yeah, because you're not being kind. I don't know why that you're feeling like that. It's like, why are you kind of trying to reverse how you're feeling? So it's like everything seems to be trying to be up against you or whatever it is. So I'm going to clarify this 6 of Pentacles here. So yeah, the 5 of Swords yours, there's no conflict. Page 1 is over, there's inventions. 5 Wands yours, there's no chaos. The Fool is upright, there's change. Yeah, so there might be change coming up. You're trying to converse of how you're feeling in that way. You're trying to have your own vice versa in that way. You're trying to do what it is. So you're trying to use reverse psychology, whatever it is. But you understand what it is. You're trying to understand what it takes and beyond about that point. You know what it is, right? And when you have to do it, that's how it goes in that way. Because everything seems to be fine, right? Everything has to be great and bold and everything else, but this is how it is. It's like you're trying to know what it takes, but then you understand what it is in that way, right? That's how it goes. What's between this nine of cups here? This is right, you're telling the truth. 6-1 sorry, there's celebration. 9 pentacles celebrate. So you're having trust, right? You're building trust because you want to celebrate and you're telling the truth. That's the way it goes. It's like, alright, seems to be very good. Alright, this is the way it goes. But then this is the way it seems to be. So let's see what's in the middle of this situation. The Ace of Cups is that right? Yeah, so there's abundance of romance in this situation. You might be dealing with an Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. You might deal with Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. That's how it goes, right? You're dealing with another 12 zodiac signs in this situation because that's how it goes, right? So that's the way it seems to be. And let's see what the universe is saying here. So then we go from the middle to the right, middle to the left. So the Ace wants yours, there's no new beginnings. 8 wants sorry, there's speed. Queen Cups yours, there's no empathy. 10 wants yours, there's no burdens. 9 Cups sorry, there's fulfillment. 9 Swords yours, there's no trauma. 9 Wands yours, there's no immaturity. 10 yours, there's no healing. Hangman so right, there's restrictions. Yeah, because you're being restricted, right? So it's like, why are you feeling like this? Why are you having all these intense feelings? Why? Because you're trying to remember the right and wrong perspective. That's all you can do. But the way of this is you're trying to have your own expectations. How you're going to expect, right? That's the way it goes, right? So, like I say, it's like you're trying to have your own debatable. You're trying to have a debate, or you're trying to negotiate, or you're trying to do what's right, what's wrong. That's how it goes. But you have to understand what it seems to be in that way, right? You're trying to have, biological explanation on how it is. It's like this could be like a 50-50 chance, like a percentage, right? So you don't know what it takes, but that's how it goes in that way. What's between the middle and the left side? The 3 Wands yours, there's no communication. Strength of yours, there's no bravery. The three of Cups sorry, there's celebrations. 5 Swords yours, there's no conflict. But the 7 Swords sorry, you're feeling deceit. Yeah, that's how it goes in that way. You're trying to know what it is in that way. You're trying to know what it takes in that way. It's like, okay, this is everything, how it is. So what's between the middle of this situation? 5 Pentacles yours, there's no insecurity. 4 Wands yours, there's no celebration. 3 of Swords sorry, there's heartbreak. Yeah, because you're feeling sad, you're whimpering, you don't know what else to do, but that's how it seems to be. It's like everything has to be all good, but this is how it goes, right? So, before I let you go, you're trying to pay attention on what it is. You're trying to, be uptight. You're trying to know what works. But this is how it is. You know what it is in that way, and you have to go with the flow. That's all you can do. But you have to resist, So if you're using the word discipline, you know what it is. But that's how it goes in that way, right? So that's how it is. But I hope you all like this video. Please give a like. Please leave a comment if you want. But this seems to be, and this is how it goes. So I hope you all like it. Give it a like. Give it a comment, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye for now. Really, thanks, and bye.